It's so dark. It's so dark. Okay? This lady, she explains it all. And I'll play the clip in a second. But before I do that, if you're not subscribed to my channel, consider subscribing. Like this video, leave a comment, and let me know what you think. Let's play the video, and then I'll add more comments.
Hey everyone. Well, I just got back to the Capitol after spending the morning at the Department of Justice reading the Epstein files, and it's a lot to process. There's a lot of truly dark, disgusting, and disturbing material in those files. And
remember, the darkness she's talking about in those files, they have 70 to 80% redacted. Means after this redaction, you're still seeing that much of darkness in those files. So this is something you have to keep in mind.
Yeah. To understand the depths of depravity, I just can't even... There aren't words to describe what are in those files. But it's very clear that the United States government has failed to hold perpetrators accountable for decades, in this case, with the original sin of failing to prosecute Jeffrey Epstein in 2006, when the FBI and the Department of Justice had the opportunity to, which allowed him to continue to abuse women across his properties and across the world. And
so his tenure as a pedo started in the late 1990s, and it expanded all the way up until he was dead. And this is a long time. This is actually, it can be a lifetime for someone. So this is the biggest sex trafficking in history. Not only in this history of in the United States, but also in our history, in the history of humanity. And yet, Donald Trump calls this a Democrat hoax. Guys, I mean, what else will make you see that Trump is actually part of it? Otherwise, he will not say that.
It's so dark. It's so dark. A few things I want to say is that it's very clear that Department of Justice is covering up names of potential perpetrators and powerful people. As you're aware, Thomas Massie unmasked Sultan last night, and I can tell you that there is all kinds of disturbing correspondence between Jeffrey Epstein and various world leaders, including leaders from the Kremlin, involving conversations about women. There's a lot of redactions involving co-conspirators, many of which the FBI identified as assistants and people who worked for Jeffrey Epstein. Many of them were women. They were schedulers, assistants, but they were often the people that the survivors interacted with when they were brought in to be abused by Epstein and Maxwell and were paid by these individuals and scheduled, etc. I spent a fair amount of my time this morning looking at the files on Zorro Ranch. There's some dark stuff there, and I think it's really important that our colleagues, State House Representatives Mariana Anaya and Andrea Romero, are conducting this Truth Commission, because the FBI never did a full forensic investigation of the ranch property, and it's clear that crimes were committed there, and people knew about it. There were victims who went to the FBI, who went to law enforcement, and those crimes were never followed up on, and the ranch was sold from the estate before a full investigation could be done. So there's a lot of unanswered questions about Zorro Ranch in New Mexico, what went down there, why it was not fully investigated, why people were not held accountable. And frankly, as a New Mexican, to anyone who was hurt there, my heart goes out to you, and the miscarriage of justice in this case is just stunning, appalling, disgusting, and I'm sorry. I mean, just what happened to people in all of these places is just horrific. I also spent some of my time at DOJ.
She broke down on camera. You can see her not really feeling it. She's very, very sad and very, very emotional.
looking at the lists of individuals who the FBI had received and investigated tips of sexual assault and violence on. Those are public documents. They're in the public domain. Donald Trump is on them. Absolutely, 100%. There were multiple credible tips and corroborated tips provided to the FBI by survivors. And yeah.
This is beyond pathetic what is happening, and we must hold our governments responsible, because as we know, it is not Donald Trump only. It is also other governments who are also involved in all of this. The elite of the society, they're all involved in this. And what is so mind-boggling is that the U.S. Justice Department has said it has released all of the files required by the Epstein Files Transparency Act. But lawmakers have argued that the release is insufficient. In other words, they're not interested. DOJ is not interested because if they are interested, then their boss, Pam Bondi's boss, Donald Trump, will be in big trouble, even though this is something that we should all talk about 24/7, because we want to know how dark it is, to what extent it goes. A letter sent to members of the U.S. Congress on Saturday from Attorney General Pam Bondi and her deputy said all documents held by the DOJ had been released. It contained a list of names appearing on the files. Of course, they released all of it, right? Of course, they are so transparent. Of course, they have proven Donald Trump not guilty without any trial, without any verdict. But this administration, the only sole purpose is not to protect only Donald Trump, but also to protect all the pedos around the world. Trust me, Elon Musk is one of them, Lutnick is one of them, Howard Lutnick, and then we have many other people, like even Ghislaine Maxwell. They are trying to protect her. They are trying to protect all of this because they are so powerful, but that is not something we can allow. That is not something that we can accept, guys. This video, this lady should serve as a reminder of how dark it really is.